Good afternoon, everyone. Gabe Velazquez here with you, TransferTradingSolutions.com on a Tuesday, 11th day, August. We have, again, very, very quiet, very narrowly traded markets. That really across the board, a lot of stocks just kind of meandering about here, not really making any progress in either direction. Probably, again, there's a wait and see for tomorrow's big inflation data, CPI. Let's get right into the charts. We still have the same levels. Really, we've been idling here for going on a week now, really, since we broke out and made a new high on the S&P. So there's really not much in terms of the S&P to really talk about. You can see we're kind of just consolidating up here. I guess that would be constructive. We have maybe another leg higher if we can't break below this kind of little range here. That obviously, if we have a hot inflation data, uh, if we have a hot inflation number tomorrow and rates spike higher up to 5%, that could bring about a corrective move back, I would say, back down to 76.33. Obviously, still, we'll find out tomorrow morning early as the numbers come out. With regard to the S&P, the Nasdaq, we still have that same level. I wrote about it, been talking about it. We cannot seem to get through it. This could be setting up for a rollover back again towards this area here. Again, it all depends on tomorrow's reaction to the inflation data. Also, I would say NVIDIA, if it can't hold the current level here at above 212, which is where it broke out from, it's starting to roll over again. That could also drive the markets lower. So we'll see. Tomorrow going to be an important, at least, knee-jerk reaction early, and then we'll see what follows up against that. Remember, there's always that knee-jerk reaction, and then and then the real move is going to happen afterwards. Bitcoin still, kind of just meandering. It's kind of, now we'll see if it can hold 62K, 61.5, whatever, it's basically a support area here. And I think it'll require the market to go higher, the Nasdaq, to at least try to test the 67K level and then break out to the upside. It is going to break out at some point, either going to test these lows down in here or break out to the upside. So longer term chart still doesn't look great. You can look at the daily chart. You can make a case for this downtrend still in place and possibly even a test of here. But so far it's been hanging in there. We'll see. One thing we can count on, and this is not going to stay here forever. It's probably going to due for a breakout at some point here. The VIX still sitting at 15. Interestingly, cannot break. Maybe they take it to 13 if we get another leg higher, but I think we're probably, sentiment is getting really optimistic, which doesn't mean the market can't go higher, but I think it caps the upside for the short term. We know where rates are. Got to get above 475. If we break through that tomorrow, I would suspect strongly that 480, and then clearly 5 is within probably not out of the realm of possibilities here. The dollar similarly, I think, is going to be breaking out of this consolidation it's been. And if we get higher rates, it's probably going to break to the upside. If it breaks 100, I think we go right back up to maybe 101 or possibly even this 160. If, however, it's a cooler number, we may come back down and maybe even test down in here. This will also be important for, gold has had a pretty decent rally. In fact, here at TTS, we caught that move buying calls on Agnico Eagle symbol AEM. You can see it's sitting right at resistance, right at a kind of a fulcrum point. So it's either going to either break out or roll over. It's still, kind of tracking this downtrend as well. So we'll see how that goes. Silver looking a little bit better. Also trying to break out. This chart looks like it actually did break this downtrend line. So we'll see what happens with that. And oil, we know, oil is just, headline driven on any given day, whatever comes out of the Middle East. The areas to look at are going to be this gap high, this gap that these two gaps that we've left over the last couple Sundays, which has 87 and 90, and then the gap from lower. So far, looks like this demand zone that we pointed to, that's the one that's actually stopped prices from falling. So I guess the way you want to look at oil is basically the news just brings you to levels. That happened here when we supposedly were going to be done with the war. The memorandum of understanding took oil back down to this gap here. And subsequently, obviously, that fell apart. And so I think we're in the same situation. So just watch the levels, watch the news that moves the market and takes you to the levels. That's the way you want to look at it. Nat gas trying to break out, glimmers of a breakout here above 280. We'll see if that happens this week with the inventory numbers. If it can hang in here and break above 280, then I think you got a shot up at this high, but not much happening there. We have a grain report tomorrow, which will be interesting to see if soybeans can come down to some of these levels. Wheat is also just kind of hovering here. Tomorrow at noon Eastern, we'll have a crop production report. I think that will, get us some moves in the grain markets. Other than that, stocks just meandering. And but I think tomorrow it's going to be a very key day, and we'll see what the next move is for the stock market and all the other stocks. Still lots of rotation going on below the surface. Energy, software, even the mega caps today have mixed. So a lot of that's still going on at the moment. Okay, all right. Also, one quick reminder, I do have a class coming up on Thursday talking about sentiment positioning, the VIX. That's really important. You got to lean on that right now, especially going into the seasonality of late August and September, which have traditionally been negative for the markets. Whether that happens this year, you never know. But it is kind of setting up for that because, again, we've rallied. Sentiment is getting very, very bullish. So I'll be talking about that. So sign up for the class in the link below. All right. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you on Friday. Take care.